Today on Me Podcast, you listen, AWA United States Champion, the Ramrock will be in the studio. All right, you turn to Me Podcast, you listen, and we have a special guest this morning before the Royal Rumble. This evening, we need to introduce not only the myth, the legend, but the champion. And what are the championship belts that we hold there, sir?
Well, if the Zoom camera will let me zoom in on that, y'all can see the IZW Tag Team Championship.
Oh.
Then below that, we got the AWWA United States Championship.
Wow.
Those are both active championships that I currently hold.
So we are with the Ramrock, who holds championship belts, and he is a legend and also a friend. So
I don't know about all that legend stuff, but I do.
You're a legend. You're a legend where you're at right now. There's nobody in your town that does what you do. True or false?
I think
true.
It's true.
Nobody in his household.
Nobody in his town. When he walks the town, everybody's like, whoa. Who is this?
I mean, we have to give credit to John Wolfgang. John Wolfgang is a very talented young man. He's the current PCW heavyweight champion, and he's from St. John's, but he currently lives in Phoenix. So got to give him credit. That's kind of in the area, but I'm the only one in the Sholo Lakeside area. So
that's St. John's. And he moved to Phoenix to wrestle?
He moved to Phoenix to wrestle, yes, sir.
Wow.
I never heard of St. John's, Germany.
Currently residing in Arizona. Oh, man.
Killing kayfabe. Come on now. Well, Rock, we wanted to bring you on, obviously, talk Royal Rumble to all the great fans. Those of us been following our show, too, know you've been on many times for these, but we wanted to give you the platform as well to announce what you have going on this 2025.
First, I need to talk about this. You just recently went on and announced something. We're going to go ahead and play this if you guys can see it and hear it, correct?
Okay. Yes.
Look at that outfit you're wearing. Looking nice.
Can't hear the volume, though.
Can't hear it? Oh, shit. Nice. Son of a bitch.
We could have Rocky recut the promo over it.
No.
I mean, we could.
It's funny when I saw your wife, she said you had to get nice shoes for this moment because you wanted to make sure you had nice shoes. Correct?
Yeah, I did. And the nice shoes didn't happen.
All right, go ahead. There he is. Look at the crowd of thousands in the arena.
This is a new year.
Check out that belt.
New promotion. I promise I'd be brief here.
Did you cry, Rocky?
Because I know you all are excited for wrestling action.
Listen towards the end, you can hear me get a little choked.
Tonight, the American Warrior Wrestling Alliance prides itself on being the land of opportunity.
I'm being a guy on the microphone. One of the things that got me going on this promo is they need to have a pop blocker because there's a lot of popping in this microphone. It just annoys me.
And announce each and every one of you that 2025 will be my final year.
What?
As a full-time professional wrestler.
All right, we'll play the rest of it when I put this in post.
Cheers turned to booze.
Pretty quickly. It's funny because in that moment, like I had rehearsed that like a lot of professional wrestlers do. And I kind of try to anticipate how the crowd's going to react. And I really, truly anticipated a mixed reaction. And so when, because there's a lot of fans, other people, and the prime Primarily in my career, I've been a heel. I've only been doing this babyface run for the last 2 years, more or less. And so I still get a pretty decent mixed reaction whenever I go out to the ring. And so I was expecting mixed reaction. So to hear solid boos to announce that, I'm not going to be wrestling full time anymore was definitely surprising. It took me aback for sure.
Why did it take you back? Were you expecting more cheers?
I was expecting, like I said, I was expecting a solid mixed reaction. I was expecting half cheers, half boos.
I don't think anybody wants to cheer that you're retiring. They want to see you continue to wrestle.
I mean, in the south section of that arena where the fans are, that was a solid Capane fan base. And that night, I was defending my championship against Capane, and so you can't really hear it in the video, but there were some cheers coming from them. And then
Capane's family and friends, and all of his extended cousins in the crowd booing you.
And what event? What event were we at? What event were we at? I know you announced in the beginning. What event was this? What promotion?
That's the American Warrior Wrestling Alliance Rise of the Villains was the title of the show.
An American Warrior Wrestling Alliance. Who's running that?
So the promoter, his name is Tamilian Vanish, or his shoot name or his gimmick name is Vikram Strong Brave. He's actually the current SCW champion and AWWA champion.
He's running his own promotion and he has championship belts.
He's double champion, baby.
Who would do such a thing?
Yeah. No one would ever do that in the history of wrestling. Come on now. Goodness.
All right. Well, we are excited to have you on here this morning to talk the Royal Rumble. I had the pleasure of watching Stephanie McMahon on Pat McAfee TV show not too long ago when they announced that Triple H was going into the Hall of Fame. And then I also saw CM Punk yesterday as we get into this Royal Rumble. I have to say, as a fan of it when I was younger and also watching it now because I watch sports, the Royal Rumble has now taken on a different light of almost being a sporting event that people are actually paying attention to. ESPN and all these other outlets are starting to actually record, watch, and show it. And then even Netflix is on the bill. So I think as a fan of watching WWE Sync, and now it's kind of rising back out, and now it's kind of becoming more of a culture. What would you call it?
Mainstream.
Like mainstream now. It's kind of like the culture of it's changed now to where it's becoming more popular. So excited to see you guys talk about the Royal Rumble because I do not watch these things. I tried to watch the Netflix first one and I told MC it looked like old people wrestling. So they had so many people come back that were just older and it just I don't know. It's like when the Hulk came out, talk about beer, and I was expecting like someone to come on and talk about their clothing line, and then the Rock himself looked old as shit, and he's wearing these massive glasses that I told MC he looked like the guy from Sunny in Philadelphia,
Frank Danny DeVito.
Yeah. Just it all just kind of reminded me that I'm getting older. So I'm glad Stone Cold didn't come out because that would have just topped it off for me. So at least he's staying in his own little room.
Couldn't give him enough money probably to get him there.
Yeah, I think he's got his chickens and his cats and everything else he's doing. So he's living his life like Rock is now when he retires.
Basically,
goats.
Yeah. Yep, got my dogs, and this summer I got a big project to get my chicken coops styled in.
See?
So
he's gonna start recording himself now, and he's petting his chickens. You're gonna start doing the
there
behind the scenes.
I don't even have to ask him now what he was gonna do post full-time wrestling. He's gonna be a chicken farmer.
I mean, no, because I'm gonna look my chickens right. I'm gonna look all of them when I get them all set up, and I'm gonna say it's eggs or meat, your choice, guys. So
chickens get in the huddle. All right, we can
That's
take
it.
him. We can totally kick his ass right now. We could beat his ass. We could do this. Next time he comes in here, someone trip him. We'll jump on him. We'll kick his ass. So one of the questions we did have, though, We know you're battling injuries as well as Mother Nature takes its toll on you and father time. And so one of the things we want to discuss is how old are your wrestling boots?
How old? Oh my gosh. Well, I guess I should just go ahead and admit that I need a new pair. they're probably a solid 10 years old, I would say.
Oh. I thought so, because I talked to your wife when we're battling some foot problems, and I was thinking to myself, it's probably those boots, man. Probably. The older we get, I go through shoes with my plantar fasciitis and everything else I have to go through, and I imagine with the toll you're putting on your body, you probably need a new pair. So we're going to go ahead and put that out there to the 53 fans that we had to listen to this, that if anybody wants to chip in for some new wrestling
Patreon
boots, we can go ahead and put a Venmo up for Ramrock and get him some new boots on his way out of the wrestling business for his final year.
Yep. Arch support. Boots with arch support, please.
See, I told you. Know my thing. Yeah, all right. Well, let's dive in as we get into the Royal Rumble predictions. We may have to record twice because it took so long for actually MC to get on. If you could see that the debacle that goes on before we get on to this, the camera switches about 10,000 times and got booted out in MC's area. Then his microphone sounded like he was like, "Hey, what's going on? How you doing?" I'm talking like this, and I said, "Hey, something's wrong with your microphone." He reaches to touch it and just completely kicks himself out.
Gets booted out. Yeah,
takes about 10 minutes to get him on the damn
called emergency services, everything.
So let's dive into the questions. Since MC uses his phone and everything else, his whole life is on this phone, I have to use my phone to ask these questions. So are we going into questions first, MC, or are we going?
Yeah, let's set it up. I did send them both. At the end of the note, I sent both of you guys. We got the potential returns at the bottom of it, but the first 8 questions are, you can go on DraftKings, and this is free to play for anyone to plug to DraftKings, is that these 8 questions are legit on there right now. So I don't know if this is a new agreement they're doing, but these are prediction questions.
DraftKings first.
Yeah, so we could go to the DraftKings. There's 8 questions, and we can all kind of answer and chime in because they're fairly easy questions.
Rock, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Didn't I just say, what should we do first? And then we got this huge buildup to just say DraftKings, you fuck. So anyways, jeez.
Nobody knows unless to set it up.
This is just you.
Yeah, we got to have that slow build, you know?
Yeah. Usually like we don't know.
You could just say, I have to pull it up on my phone. You could just say
as far as the 53 people know, I just created these questions out of nowhere.
All right. So DraftKings is the first one. You said, who will enter the Royal Rumble first? This is a bet, I'm assuming, correct?
Yes, these are all betting questions. You could legit win some money off these if you go to DraftKings and go to their free pools. You can fill out this 8-question prediction survey and win part of the pod if you can guess them all.
So I guess what's the betting? Like, what's the odds? Did you pull that up? No.
Well, it's just there's thousands. I think it's an unlimited entry, and then it's a pool of whatever DraftKings wants to give. I don't know what the pool is. Money for is sometimes,
Do you do the DraftKings, Rocky?
I do not, no sir. But I'm pulling it up right now. So
there you go. See.
So shit face. Yeah, we
might as well.
I don't know the odds, right?
Well, just do it, and if you win, you win.
Yeah. I'm looking right now.
It's free money.
Dude, John Cena looks sick. That picture of him, he looks like he's got something wrong with him. His body just looks odd.
He's got an actor physique now.
He's got the hairline wrestling going on. All kinds of shit. Just shave it, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Just get rid of the hair. God. So what are the odds? You see it yet, Rocky? Who enters the Royal Rumble first?
I mean, so are you asking me who do I think is going to enter it first?
Yeah, who do you think? Out of Roman Reigns?
Well, no, there's many questions. The first 3 starts. The first question. Just if you read it, it'll tell you. I don't have them in front of me.
Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, or same time is the 3 options.
So are they going to start the Rumble, or is one coming in before the other? That's, I guess, the question out of the 3.
I mean, is that the only 3 choices, or can I throw another prediction?
That's the first question. Says they're going to do a couple more of those. One's going to be like Seth and Punk, and I think The first three questions are those. So if you go on DraftKings, they're asking you, do you think Jay will enter first? Do you think Roman will enter first? Or do you think they'll start at 1 and 2?
I think I'm going to go with Jey Uso being number one. Roman Reigns is too much of a money draw. You got to keep him towards one of those marquee spots, like 28 or 27, whatever one of those positions comes in. And it's got to be like some super upset for him to lose. So it's definitely going to be Jey Uso, who's more or less been the workhorse with WWE lately.
He started number one last year. I don't think he's coming in one this year, but I definitely think he'll go in before Reigns.
Definitely.
Why do you think that?
Rock said it all.
I know Rock said it's a big draw.
I just don't think
so. The third option would they actually come in? Would they actually come in at the same time? I guess they would.
If they were 1 and 2, but Jimmy and Jay were 1 and 2 last year. You're going to have Roman work over an hour, and when on a limited schedule as it is, I doubt it. I mean, he could come in at 22, and Jay could be 28 this year.
How old is Roman Reigns?
It's possible.
Roman has got to be in his early 40s.
I would say that's probably fairly accurate.
So it's probably why you don't want him to work that long.
Late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah, it has to be. Yeah,
you just risk injury, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want that for that.
He's the big money draw, man. You got to protect the cash cow.
Yeah, I feel like he's in the final four, so I think he has to come in later. You're not going to have him work.
So if you're doing this at home with us, mark down Royal Rumble. First one to enter, Roman Reigns. Next one question. No, sorry, Jey Uso. Sorry.
Who's coming in first? We're choosing Jay, right?
Jay.
Coach, if you were a tiebreaker, what would you say?
I don't care. So, anyways, next.
What a jerk.
Real
life heel. Real life heel. If you're trying to win money, fuck you. I'm not even going to try to win you.
Fuck off. Who cares?
If I'm a tiebreaker, you're fucking screwed.
What a jerk.
Got me there. That was good.
All right. Who will enter the Royal Rumble? Women, I must know. Who would you write? You wrote it twice. Who will enter the Royal Rumble first? Who will enter the Royal Rumble first? You wrote it twice.
It was copy paste. Sorry.
Fucking A, dude. Who's Sami Zayn and CM Punk?
So who's entering first? Sami Zayn or CM Punk, or are they starting 1, 2?
We just discussed it again.
This is just two different guys. No, these are legit. So if we're helping people win,
bet on this.
Yeah, if we're helping people in
what
DraftKings,
lonely person sitting at home looking at this shit.
What's going to add to it?
I can genuinely see CM Punk entering first. I can see them doing that just because, like, he's got a lot to prove. He came in like towards the very end of the last Rumble. He tore his tricep, horrible injury. Whether you like him or you hate him, you never want to see an injury like that in what we do. I could see him giving him the number one spot and lasting. I don't think he's going to win, but I'm sure that's a later question down the road. But I could see him being in there for like a solid 45 minutes or whatever to try to give him a little bit of redemption.
There's another dude up in age, man. I mean, he's
even older. Yeah, he's even older than
50s.
Reigns.
Yeah. Do you think that he's gonna? You think he'll just be dodging
or close to 50?
Do you think he'll dodge big moves during the Royal Rumble just to kind of stay in longer, or do you think he's gonna take like high impact shit up front?
The first couple entries, you'll work a few spots, but then the big bulk of it is punches and kicks and selling.
Right.
You know.
All right.
Zayn was 30 last year. I'm gonna go opposite of Rock. I think Zayn's gonna be earlier because I think Sammy could be a dark horse winner, but my pick is ultimately probably going to be Punk. So I think he's coming in later. I think Sammy, because he was 30 last year, and for the same Roman Reigns argument, I wouldn't put Punk in there from 1 and chance him getting re-injured again, especially if he's going to win. So I think Sammy's going in there first.
So I see how this is going. So they're just deciding out of these two individuals, who's going to go in before.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah.
So the next one is who's going to enter first, Seth Rollins or Logan Paul. I hope Logan Paul doesn't even show up, to be honest with you. I think he's a fucking tool bag as it is.
Fighting his own brother, you said off there.
Yeah, he's boxing his own brother in a month.
What's going on with that?
He's a tool. He's a gimmick queen. Like he ruins, and to me, he ruins the business, man. I think he just.
Wait, why is he fighting his own brother?
We'll get into that
When
later.
did this
but
happen?
he's boxing his own brother in March.
I don't even know what that fuck was going on until you told
Yeah,
me.
I didn't know either.
No, I don't think anybody.
Let us in,
that's how
Yeah.
stupid it is going to be. No one even knows what's going on. It's dumb.
Does anybody even care? I mean,
no, nobody cares. And that's the thing about it is they probably show video of them fighting as little kids. That'd probably be more interesting to watch than this dumb fucking staged fight that they're going to charge more than enough to watch two dudes fight that know each other. Come on. Why? I think it's because no one wants to fight Jake Paul anymore. It's kind of ran its course. It's getting old. After the Mike Tyson situation, everybody was disappointed how dumb it looked and they tore it apart. Problem with social media is you can rewind it and watch it 3,000 different times. And so everybody just went through and analyzed the shit about how fake it was. And I think it just took away the legitimacy of how Jake Paul's a real fighter. So put him into
a real fight, even if it wasn't staged, like where would you go? You're fighting probably the greatest boxer of all time. Where do you go from there?
Yeah, but he's almost 60. So it's just kind of goes back to my whole thing about the WWE showing up at Netflix with all the old hats coming in doing we're in Netflix. And you're like, whatever, dude. I doubt Hulk Hogan during his whole career was going, I hope we go to Netflix. Hope we're on some kind of app watching wrestling. None of these guys, they just bring them back for honoring them, but having them come out and actually introduce it and do all that shit. And then they brought in The Rock. The Rock totally looks like he's never going to wrestle again. And then why didn't they bring back Mick Foley? He lost 40 pounds or 100 pounds. Why didn't they bring him back? He's part of the legends. Yeah. So to me, it all just seems like you're reaching. And with the Tyson thing, everybody wants to see it, but you don't want to see it now. I wanted to see it back when Tyson was in his prime. I don't want to see him fight a 20-some-year-old kid. And then to sit there and say, oh, we honor you. Thanks for the fight. Fuck off, dude. It's because you had so much money. That's why he did it. He didn't do it because he didn't respect him as a fighter. He just did it because he got $40 million out of it.
His fight rules, were those legit that if Mike would have knocked him out earlier, you wouldn't have gotten?
No, that's just social media. That's just social media.
Stupid, yeah.
But again, now you have these two brothers fight. I think it would be great if they actually go in and do a brawl, actually go in and fight the shit out of each other, but they're not going to do that crap. Yeah, just go in and actually fight.
Kumite.
If I was really them, I'd go for it. Go for it and kick the shit out of each other. That'd be awesome. But Jake Paul's the one that's going to lose everything if he gets knocked out by his brother. That'll be it. They'll take away everything. So what's the point of the fight? Anyways, I digress.
I think to go back to the question, I think if there's any chance of two guys starting the Rumble, it could be Logan Paul and Seth Rollins. Out of the three questions, this might be the last one of the three. It is possible because I don't think Seth's making to the Final Four and Logan Paul either. So it would probably make for a good start to the Rumble to have those two started, I guess.
This is seriously a question on here. Will any of the John Cena, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, or Roman Reigns win the Rumble?
Don't we all want to see John Cena win it? I know John Cena win it. Come on, coach.
Dude, he looks like
his last run.
He looks like a PE teacher at an elementary school right now.
No, he's going to be I think he'll be in the Final Four, but I don't think he's winning it.
I don't think so either. I one can hope. And this is coming from me, who's not a John Cena fan by any chance, but I want to see him have his Cinderella moment.
Yeah,
but then what? Then he goes to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And does what? He's going to WrestleMania, gets to decide a match, right?
Yeah, against Cody, then I would imagine.
Yeah, is that what Cody wants?
Match right there.
Is that what Cody wants? Cody wants to wrestle. That's worse.
I think Cody and Punk feels like the natural best matchup. That's why I think Punk's going to win.
And most likely that's what we're going to see is Cody.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this. Out of CM Punk and John Cena, which one do you think is more athletic?
Right now, for sure, Punk.
Yeah.
Cena, I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Yeah, Cena's in full-blown acting mode right now.
Yeah.
Well, he dropped a bunch of weight. He doesn't look like
He'll get his 3 shoulder blocks, his back drop, his fist drop. You know, he'll get that in. He'll get his shit in. But
I think a better question is what number is Cena coming in? 28, 29, or 30?
Definitely 28.
Definitely.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, he has to be in the last 3 numbers. There's no way he's coming out earlier.
So during the Royal Rumble, during this part, any predictions on any surprises coming into this?
They're definitely going to bring back a few legends, for sure.
There should be a few, yeah.
Yeah, I would say Jeff Jarrett, but he's got his big AEW run going on right now. That dude's 60 years old and getting a shot at the world title, which, you know, that's its own podcast in and of itself. But
well, from AEW, speaking of guys from AEW, it's very likely Aleister Black returns.
Yes, I can see that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can see Aleister Black being a surprise. I can see
AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Brock, maybe Brock finally returns.
Ooh, I don't know.
You still think that lawsuit is?
I just read an update on the lawsuit, and it's looking like that could have a big effect. I think he might have been planned for tonight, but I don't know now. So
he was planned for last year, and I think
Becky Lynch. You also have on here Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch is probably likely, possibly AJ Lee. She's been teased by Punk, so that would be gigantic.
That would be huge, absolutely.
Victoria
for her for a long time.
You put Goldberg.
Yeah, he's rumored to have one more final match, so he could see him return, or he maybe turns up during for Gunther.
WWE, home of the Senior Citizen Wrestling Alliance.
Maybe there's been stuff banded around, like there's a 30, and then The Rock's music hits, and the final boss is number 31. Since he's the boss, he can put himself in there. So there is that too. That if he's gonna,
so you think The Rock's gonna show up and wrestle?
That's been bandied around. I don't know.
I could see it.
Abyss.
I could see it.
Abyss is a long dark horse that I would love to see show up
and
for one time. Not Mick Foley, please no.
And then they're gonna bring back Dusty Rhodes from the grave. They're gonna have the AI versions of all these guys. You know what? Might as well bring in Ric Flair. Let him just show up and take a bump and then throw him out and be done with it. Everybody should just put their hat in the ring that's from the 70s on that are still alive and just show up.
Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah, we got Jake the Snake. He's still alive. Get in there, Jake.
Buff Bagwell and just went back to prison.
So this isn't a question but what I do predict will happen is I think we're going to have a showdown between Orton and Cena, and I think we're going to have Orton and Cena at WrestleMania.
That's actually pretty cool.
Really see that happening. I could see them starting the build tonight, and then they'll probably do something in the Elimination Chamber too. And then probably build to that final match, because I know Orton's been pushing real hard to get a WrestleMania match with John Cena. And so I could totally see them doing that, even though, what was it, 2011, like the entire year was just those two, like every single pay-per-view, and people were sick of it. But I think it's been a long enough time to where we could see those two work together again and probably have a fairly decent match. You know, Orton's in phenomenal shape and he's been somewhat consistent, so I think he could probably carry Cena to a good final match.
Does he turn full-blown heel again then for this story?
Man. Heel Randy Orton is one of the best ever. I would hope so.
Yeah,
I would hope it's not some babyface respect thing. I would hope we get the Legend Killer Viper, the guy who was punting people in the face. That's what I wanted to see. I would love
kick Cena to put him out of his misery, so to speak. On his way to WrestleMania. That would actually be pretty cool. I would love
that. That would be money, in my opinion. That's how I'd book it if I was right now.
I'm with you on that one. That would be pretty cool.
So the other thing I'm reading about in here, other matches that are focal points of this, is there's a ladder match, which I haven't seen in a long time, between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens. This will be the fight to undisputed WWE Championship for the third time. Rhodes defeated Owens cleanly at the Bash in Berlin. Anything?
I'm excited for this match for sure. I mean, I don't know why they're putting so much emphasis on the Winged Eagle title, since it's not really a title. It was just supposed to be something that was brought back for one night only. But I like the build to it. There's no way Owens is going to win, but it'll still be a fun match for sure.
The other thing
they should meld those. They should meld those belts into one.
Oh, agreed.
They hung them, and then okay, you're not going to have them for a week, and then suddenly Cody's got it on the Royal Rumble kickoff, and how the fuck did you get it back? Owens takes it back down, even though Cody's was already down on the SmackDown. So just combine them into a new belt that looks more like the Winged Eagle instead of the stupid diamond ring belt that they've had for so long now. It looks like a huge Super Bowl ring turned into a belt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's hopefully where they're headed. Why that belt was brought back and kind of now still in play. But
the other match that they're highlighting in here is the WWE Tag Championship with DIY and Motor City Machine Guns.
That's going to be fun, and I'm
2 out of 3. Yeah, 2 out of 3 falls.
I'm just excited that the Motor City Machine Guns are finally getting their day in the spotlight. You know what I mean? They were always a big undercard tag team when they were with Impact Wrestling, TNA back in the day, and it's just really cool to see them. But oh my gosh, just looking over this card, Coach, you are absolutely right. This is the Senior Citizens Royal Rumble, because those guys are up there in age too, man. All of them, DIY and Motor City, they're all up there. It's definitely going to be the Senior Citizens Rumble in 2020.
Yeah, with them winning in that 8-man tag, I'm not so sure that the Machine Guns will win this one, but especially with Tama Tonga staring down the belts of DIY on SmackDown last night. So yeah, I would probably.
So they had to wrestle last night.
Yeah, it was an 8-man tag. It was DIY tagging with the Pretty Deadly, and they were facing the Machine Guns teaming with the Legado del Fantasma guys who probably aren't even going to be on the card.
I thought they got away with the wrestling every night, but that sucks, man. So we only have 4 minutes left. So the question for MC, since he's got probably 1 million questions, do we want to make this a 2-parter, or do you want me just to go right into the?
If Rock has time to stay with us to record a second one real quick, then I'll leave up to him.
Yeah, I definitely have time. We can.
Okay. So we won't not do justice for the Women's Royal Rumble matches, since there is a women's and a men's Royal Rumble, which is completely different from the 80s version, because there wasn't a whole lot of women wrestlers back when I was watching the Royal Rumble as a child. Women were what do you call them? Escorts.
Valets.
Yeah, valets, not escorts. So anyways,
before you even get started, canceled.
No, we're in a new world, man. Trump's president. We can say what we want now. So we can say
you can call female wrestlers escorts.
I didn't say all female. Males can be escorts too. You know what? It's a new generation.
You were talking about the Women's Royal Rumble.
So we'll get into the Women's Royal Rumble as we make this a part 2 for tonight. So Ramrock, hang in there. We will splice this together and make this look like it's seamless.
Sounds great.
Give me time to download this and then grab another coffee, because I just drank mine. And then we will get back to the rest of the Royal Rumble. And MC, if you could organize your thoughts on what you would like to discuss, instead of just sending us text messages of I'd like to talk about this.
I can't see it. I can't view it without
write it down. There's a pen and paper somewhere in that house of yours.
Good.
but just write down little thoughts. Like I want to talk about this. Send us some from DraftKings. I say, what's the odds? You're like, I don't know.
There are no odds. It just takes as many people who want to do this.
Anybody want to bet on who's going to come in first?
Whoever wants a guess, it's a free guess.
I'll tell you this.
Questions. Then if you win a few bucks, or if you win the whole damn thing, then
who's first in the Royal Rumble? The announcer. Everybody will win at that moment. The announcer is the first one in the ring.
Oh,
maybe it's the referee.
The first one. Who's going to show up first in the Royal Rumble? The people who put together the ring. Boom! Winning money tonight.
You can make your own pool and then make that a question.
Just just make it a
ring
question.
crew.
The ring crew, the first one in the ring.
The wise ass Royal Rumble predictions. Here's 8 of them that you're not gonna like because I'm gonna make you sound like an idiot.
First one in the ring. The ring crew.
First one, the arena. The fads.
Not true. The ring crew. Ring crew does it all, man.
The owner of the arena, when he looks out to the crowd, says, "How many people are going to be here tonight?"
All right, let me stop this, get some coffee, and I will get back to you, and then we'll do this. Keep going, part 2.
Special oversized edition starring the Ramrock.
All right. For part 2 of the Royal Rumble predictions, reviews, and opinions. The first part of this episode, I have to apologize. I do go off on a rant and just kind of go and derail these conversations between MC and the Ramrock. So this episode, we're going to go ahead and let Ramrock and MC take control of this, and I will just sit in the background and chime in as I feel fit.
Well,
So
Coach,
MC, go ahead.
Coach, I always appreciate it. It's
You need a captain to steer the ship, and that is
right now. Right now, I'm looking at the polls on DraftKings. I downloaded the app, so I'm just checking it out. So
you figure what I was talking about, right? So it's just
now I'm watching.
Just under 22,000 people. Any unique user can do any free pools if they want.
$10,000 they're giving away. Ramrock, $10,000.
Yeah.
$10,000 would get me a lot of stuff for my chicken coop.
Yeah,
it would get you a new pair of wrestling boots,
and then and the chickens can all have sweaters during the
winter. Wow. Yep.
If you get them sweaters, they'll lay hard-boiled eggs. Comedy, settle down.
I don't think it quite works that way. But.
Might. All right, go ahead, MC. Start it off.
We didn't really talk too much about the women's Royal Rumble, so we speculate on potential returns. Like it could be AJ Lee, Becky Lynch. Charlotte's already returning, so she's a lock. Potential other ones could be Victoria, who signed a Legends deal, and they've tried to shoot this down over the fact of maybe contract dispute, but Alexa Bliss could possibly return too. It just depends if all that noise was a ruse. So one of those could return.
In this match is Nia Jax, Bayley, Charlotte Flair, Naomi, Bianca Belair. Is that her name?
Belair, yes.
Liv Morgan. Is it Raquel Rodriguez?
Yes, good.
Lyra, Valkyrie,
Valkyria,
Ivy Nile, and Io Sky?
Io Sky, yeah.
So what about the big girl in this one? What's her name? The one that dressed like all gothic. Why is she in this?
She's a champ. So she don't need to be in it.
Oh.
So her and the other women's champion, which is Tiffany Stratton, they more than likely will sit at ringside with their championships. Like that's what they've been doing in the past. And they'll watch the Rumble live in front of them, basically, to see who potentially could be their contender, because whoever isn't chosen, usually the Elimination Chamber women's match or men's, depending on which one doesn't get chosen on their side, will choose. That will decide the other contenders.
So did they do any run-ins? Is there going to be any run-ins in this one? Since they're on the side.
You think the champions will run in and cost someone the match?
You think so?
I mean, anything's possible in the WWE, but I don't.
That's not what I asked. I asked, do you think there'll be any run-ins?
Do I think there'll be an actual run? Every Royal Rumble entry is a run-in itself.
Listen, smart ass. I'm talking about the people that aren't in the match.
Oh,
Brock Lesnar's daughter will
just
run
for
in
that.
out of nowhere.
Just for that, I'm going to shrink you. I'm going to shrink you down on this screen right here, and I'm just going to put you over here in this corner, make you really tiny. There, you're no longer a part of this conversation. You're totally out of this whole thing.
Helium voice.
You're no longer. In fact, make you. This is true. This is truly how big he is compared to me and you, huh, Ramrock?
Put like me inside the of the Royal. Actually, just hide in the O.
He's probably actually a little smaller than that. Let's make him a little tinier.
Well, it's to answer your question.
There he is.
With a wise ass answer is yeah. I mean, anybody could, but I mean, the only one who's usually done that is R-Truth.
Oh my gosh, that was absolute comic gold, by the way. One of my favorite Rumble moments of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, running in on the women's rumble. Where are all the guys?
He might. I mean, it's not out of the question that he might do that again, but I don't see anybody running in who's not actually a part of the match, unless someone fucks with the champions. But usually that happens after they're eliminated. So I don't think either of the champions, who are technically baby faces as of now, I think both Tiffany and Rhea are baby. I don't think they'll fuck with anybody in the match. So anybody who returns, I mean, I could see Brock doing it for the men's, mad at him being blackballed or something, and then they turn it into a storyline. But I don't know if or The Rock. I mean, he's probably another guy that could cost Roman. For the women's, I don't see it happening.
You think they're still teasing the fact that Rock and Roman Reigns are going to wrestle?
Oh yeah,
it's possible,
and I could see. We definitely could see that. I mean, it is going to be. We still have to have old bloodline versus new bloodline, right? Or has that actually happened?
Yeah, I think that may have run its course. And the only thing I could possibly see is potentially a Jacob Fatu Roman Reigns WrestleMania match, which The Rock could still be behind. It depends. I mean, we don't really know what the fate of Solo is. Is he gonna try to be rehabilitated back into the OG bloodline, since he's pretty much almost virtually OG bloodline himself? Or so will Jacob Fatu face Solo, or is it possible that he'll actually face Roman, since they built Jacob Fatu up pretty? They're still building him up very well.
He's a nice guy, man.
You met him?
I met him, and I actually worked with him. I had a tiny little spot with him in STF wrestling in Utah. We had a little meet up, and I think I clubbed him in the back, and then he ended up getting tossed out of the Rumble match. So,
did he shimmy a little bit before he retaliated on you?
A little bit, yeah. He shimmied a little bit. Dude is athletic as hell too, man.
Oh yeah,
he's that guy can move.
Legit spent time in prison. We've been told multiple times. Yeah,
no kidding. Well,
before his 18th birthday, they were saying on I think Saturday night's main event. They were
revealing that. If anything's gonna humble you up real quick, it's a little bit of time in prison. So makes a lot of sense.
Potentially, yeah. Coach, you ever spent some time in Flagstaff prison, since you're the most hated man in Flagstaff?
The most
That's
hated
a different
man.
story. We're talking Royal Rumble. Don't focus it on me.
That's
trying to get me to derail this again.
That's a future episode we're teasing here. Coach JC in prison. For attacking a principal verbally.
No, what?
Verbally dressing down a principal.
Just put it this way, Rock. I am not a well-liked person. I have in my 20-year stint I've spent here, I've definitely caused some problems. Unintentionally, just my behavior, I guess. Here's the way I look at it. See, fucker, why you got to go on this? Here's the way I look at it. Sensitivity, and people sometimes get too sensitive. And I think the sensitivity comes from those individuals who just expect you to just take a slap to the face and never say a fucking word. Problem is, some people got to stand up for themselves. And when you stand up for yourselves, those individuals then tend to act like the victims. So, you know what? That's just the way it is. And I'm sure in that small town that Ramrock lives in with the chickens, sure and him have gone a few rounds with the chickens, and the chickens are probably talking shit about him right now.
Oh yeah,
back and they're like, fucker thinks he's gonna eat us. He's not gonna eat us. Oh, fucker, we'll show him. The dogs are like, no, he's gonna eat you. You're like, shut up, dog. You just go back inside and fuck off. So
that's a day in the life of the Ramrock.
Dogs there. Over there trying to tell you, hey man, those chickens are plotting something. You're like, whatever. I'll go in there and take them. So, hey, look in the background. Were you playing Zelda?
Yeah, that's Wind Waker in the background.
Nice.
Busted out the old GameCube. Got the
shit. Look at that.
Oh wow.
Wow. This is like a GameStop episode.
We're getting
Ramrock is ready for retirement. Let me tell you.
Yeah, we're getting an early glimpse of the Ramrock's semi-retirement, where he'll
chicken, Zelda, and dogs.
He'll wrestle a once a year, like the Undertaker with SCW. He'll come out for their big event, and he'll wrestle one match a year.
Well, and I'm sure we can touch on it a little later, but with my whole like goodbye speech, you all will notice that I did not say retirement at one point in there, because that retirement word is overly used in professional wrestling. How many wrestlers say I'm retired and then they just come back and they work a schedule and they work, you know what I mean? I'm not going to be that guy. If somebody wants, if it's the right match, if it's the right promotion, if it's the right money, if it's the right whatever, the stars align, yeah, I'll come back out and do a match or so. I'm just not going to be doing it every single weekend like I have been for the last couple of years. So
that's right, man. Somebody wants a piece of you, you'll give them the whole cake.
That's it. That's it.
All right.
Well,
anyways, back to the Rumble.
Back to the Rumble.
So I guess we are a preview show, but prediction wise for the women's Rumble, what do you think, Rock? Who do you think's taking it home?
Jordan Grace.
Ooh.
Hands down, Jordan Grace is winning tonight's Rumble.
I think she'll be in it. I'm with you. She has signed officially, I think, after leaving TNA. I don't think she's winning it, though.
You're probably right, honestly. But if they were smart, they would make her win, because this is huge. She has been probably the most talked about female wrestler, not just in TNA, but just like globally. She is like, she's really done so much for the entire women's division. She had an awesome start in the Rumble last year. She got to do some stuff. I think it would be extremely smart if they put her over and had her win the title at WrestleMania. With this type of momentum, with this signing, now apparently she's fully signed with WWE.
Oh, yeah.
And so like TNA has basically become like the NXT for NXT. It's basically the breeding grounds, and Jordan Grace has been ready. Let's be honest. She's been ready for this main event spotlight for a very long time. And so I'm really hoping that WWE is smart and gives her the ball and just lets her run with it, man, because she's definitely well deserving of it.
Definitely a physical force for Rhea. I think we're looking at Tiffy versus Charlotte for sure. I just probably don't want to see Charlotte. I don't know, what's it, 3 or 4 years since she won her Royal Rumble. And same thing with Becky winning another one, because Becky's rumored to face Rhea. But I think for sure we're looking at Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte at WrestleMania. I think that's a lock. Now, whether that's going to happen because Charlotte wins a Rumble, that remains to be seen. I think probably the betting odds would say Charlotte, but I'm hoping there is a dark horse candidate. And I mean, that's not a bad guess. I mean, certainly, her versus Rhea would be two physical forces, but I don't know. I mean, other people are betting it on Io. They think Io's got it against, and it'll be Io versus Rhea, and I could see that too. She's been pretty reliable. And like her, a lot of her stablemates who I do like too. I like Dakota and Kyrie a lot. They've been hard for them to stay healthy, but Io seems to be like, the most durable out of the Damage Control, because Asuka's supposed to come back too. That's, we hadn't mentioned her too. So it's very possible we see Asuka return, since there was only, I think Coach mentioned maybe about 10 names are announced. So there's about 20 women that we don't know for sure that are going to be in this. So I think we'll see some NXT names. I've heard Jada Parker, Stephanie Vaquer, Roxanne Perez, who seems to be making her way to the main roster. So I think you'll see a lot of girls who either have just scratched the surface or might be hitting their first Rumble for the first time. But I think Jordan is probably, I feel like she's destined more for NXT and a championship run there before getting a hot shot at the WrestleMania. I think Shawn Michaels seems to like her a lot, and I don't see her winning yet. I feel like this one's a dark. It could go for the easy choice, which is Charlotte. I think she's Final Four for sure, but I'm hoping it's a little more of a dark horse candidate, somebody who will probably challenge Rhea, I think.
All right. Chelsea Green, baby. Chelsea Green. Let's go.
That would be cool. That would be cool.
Here's my prediction of the whole Royal Rumble for the females. Who should win? Belair. That's who should win. They want to see a Ripley versus Belair WrestleMania. Who will win?
I'd be 100% behind that. That would be an awesome match. I could also see Belair and Jordan Grace having a killer WrestleMania. I mean, they had their spot at the Rumble last year, and I could see that turning into a WrestleMania main event as well.
But who will win? It's going to be Flair.
Yeah, that's probably the best odds. Belair's probably on a collision course with Jade Cargill. She's another one that'll, after that injury angle where she took a vacation, apparently she's been replaced in the tag team. I think there's going to be some shenanigans with who injured her. Maybe she'll accuse Naomi. Maybe she'll go the route. Maybe she planned it herself. It's going to be something that'll probably do Jade Cargill and Belair, I think. And
I can
then,
see that. Yeah.
yeah.
So
see that.
The other predictions in here from this website is they think the male's Royal Rumble, they think it's going to be John Cena. They think he's going to win it for the final main event. But they think that if they were going to sway for the fans, they think it should be CM Punk.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Punk. Punk and Cody seems to be the best Cody matchup because who wants to see Cody and Roman for the third time? Cody and Cena doesn't have the same type of, I think, drama that it feels like with him and Punk can have. Punk's first main event in WrestleMania, wins his first Royal Rumble. I think there's a lot of meat on that bone, and I feel like you're going to have a lot of people happy if he wins at home too. And let's hope they don't do something stupid like they used to do with Vince McMahon.
What about Cena and Gunter? That could be money right there.
I don't know. I just not feeling that matchup for some reason. I just not for WrestleMania. I feel like whoever's winning the Rumble is challenging Cody.
Yeah,
who's gonna challenge Gunther? You know,
that's got to make sense.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
Gunther has kind of been, I mean, he's been an amazing world champion, but that's the thing that I hate. Like, I was really excited when Roman unified the titles. I was like, finally, we're going back to one title, and then they separated them again. I was like, why? The World Heavyweight Championship, it doesn't matter what they do with it, who they put it on. It's always the second place title, no matter what. And it always gets overshadowed by the WWE Championship. It infuriates me that they separated them.
It's pointless. I agree 100%. Because he looks good. He's wearing a championship belt, but you're right. He's always going to be second, and he's going to be playing second fiddle to the WWE Universal Champion, which you might as well, because they just created that. They didn't even separate it from him. They just created another one. So how many more are you going to keep creating for someone to unify? It's just like,
it was created, in my opinion, the worst possible way that you could have created. It was basically nobody can beat Roman Reigns for 4 years. So here's the second place title that people can compete for. I thought that was the absolute worst possible way to introduce that title.
Yeah.
And it just, not happy at all with the way they did that.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
It's so much better, like they could have literally done like some type of ladder match stipulation where, one belt got lost, but Roman retained the other. But you know what I mean? Like they could have done so much and made it so much more meaningful. But it was literally just, nobody can beat Roman Reigns, and we need a world title, so here it is.
That's an excellent point, because remember when they had that big match? I know we were kind of cheering for Drew too, and maybe it was the Germany, not the one in his home at the Germany pay-per-view where he was. Maybe that should have been the ladder match, and then have Drew grab the Raw one, him have the Universal one, and that's how you kind of separate. Roman's not pinned, but it still kind of gets one of the titles out of there. Yeah, that would have been a lot better. But I didn't think they probably had an idea that this was probably going to go on this long, and that they would not be able to have any more world champions for 4 years. So they kind of booked themselves into that problem and made it worse, I think.
Completely agreed. And are we ever going to see a decent Drew McIntyre run? I mean, I would love to see it. I mean, the poor guy gets so close, he wins the belt, cashed in, or he drops it immediately, or, it just feels like, because Drew is still really, really good. And I still feel like they haven't capitalized on everything that he can do. Like the whole stuff he was doing with CM Punk was money. It was so good, and everything he was doing on social media. But then he did just do that Busted Open podcast with Bully and all that. And he kind of let his feelings out. He was kind of like, you know what? Like, I'm sick and tired of being on TV, and I miss my family and all that. And so I don't know. Maybe we've seen the Drew thing run its course. I don't know. But I think a decent run with Drew as the champion could be money. It could be really fun.
Someone mentioned they think it could possibly be Roman and Drew at WrestleMania. I mean, I think then you'd have to have Drew win. I think he's been kind of screwed over so many times by the bloodline and such.
But how do you get the belt off Cody to do that?
No, I don't think that would be. I think that would be like a grudge match. This would have nothing to do with the title match. But okay. I kind of want to see KO, Drew, Seth, and then add Brock Lesnar. If obviously he's not blackballed, for much longer. I'd like to see them as a powerhouse, like 4-man group, and then actually target the bloodline because they were all basically victims of the bloodline at some point. And I feel like they all have legitimate beefs. They can rationalize it, which a good heel character can do. They have a legitimate beef in their story where it's believable to think, hey, they're justified. That's the right word I was looking for. They feel justified being screwed over from this group so many times. And now just because they're a babyface faction, and these guys now look like the villains, but they're totally justified in it. So, I mean, I don't know how they get there. I don't know. I think you kind of have to do, at some point you got to do a shock factor thing. So you got to have Brock return. You got to have these guys unite, and then you kind of piece together the story in there. Oh, we've seen the little tease with KO and Drew on TV. You've seen Drew with Seth a little bit, but how did they all come together? Then you kind of unravel the stories for that. So I would love to see all 4 of them attack Roman and get him out of the Rumble. That would be awesome, but whether it's going to happen or at this point, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see I could see Roman basically kind of closing in towards the end, and then all of a sudden he's surrounded by all these guys that he's all the ghosts of Bloodline's enemies, and they all kind of surround him, and he's kind of outnumbered, and he tries to fight him off, but it's just the numbers are too much, and they all toss him. I could see that happening. That could definitely be a good build to that for sure.
I think to bring Brock back without getting possibly booed from all this shit too, they have him just come in conventionally. This guy ties into what Coach was asking earlier. Can you see someone running in? Brock is probably the perfect guy to run in a match of this sort, wreck shit, get out of there, wreck the guy who used to wreck people and leave. Basically, he comes in there, wreck shit, and then he leaves, not giving a fuck if people are booing him because it's not really a return, so to speak. It's a revenge-laden rampage. Basically,
what would be in his best interest to return like that, though?
Well, I mean, money is this driving force. I think Brock, they wanted to bring him in with a good, probably new deal to work last year's WrestleMania, and then this thing with fucking McMahon came out. So I think they want to probably work with him if this shit would die down, and if they feel enough time has passed. Yeah, I mean, you got to give him. Paul Heyman's there, so he always knows his best interests are going to be taken into account because Heyman's a good collaborator with Triple H. So he probably figures he'll be treated like, with respect and like a monster when he does return. And he's definitely not going to be a babyface. I can't picture that, especially after all this shit. And it's a perfect foil for Roman's new babyface bloodline because now you got Sammy versus KO in that mix. You have, Seth and Drew and, all those guys that are still mad at Roman. And then you got Brock, who's, never really been of buddy with Roman to begin with. So he's been fucked over by the bloodline too. So yeah, you got a perfect 4-man group that all have problems with Roman Reigns. Why not attack him at one time?
So
do the fans really want to see another Brock Roman match? I mean, I feel like that's just been done way too much.
I mean, he's part of a bigger group. That's why I say it's probably better as a 4-man group to put Brock in there. Eventually, they'll have to fight one-on-one. But, yeah, the story is the bloodline versus these 4 guys. You got Sammy in there. You got Jay, who's now, his stock has risen. You're trying to rise Jimmy up, too. So it would be like a 4-on-4 type of thing. And, yeah, you can always weave in Jacob Fatu Solo maybe again. And, I mean, if you wanted to expand the ranks of the other side, you could do. But there's a lot of different ways you could go with it long term.
So is this I haven't watched the Royal Rumble forever. Is this the matches? This is it?
Yeah, there's 2. There's the 2 main ones, the 2 out of 3 tag title, and then the ladder match with Cody and KO, and that's pretty much it.
Yes, sir. They'll do a pre-show match too, but yeah, these Rumble matches usually last a long time. They're usually an hour and a half sometimes. So
You're going to probably see this as a 2-night event at some point. If SummerSlam has went to 2 nights, you'll probably have the ladies headline one, and then you'll have the men's headline other. When they go to a Saturday, Sunday Royal Rumble, you'll probably see that because there's really no reason not. If you put it on the weekend that's not the Super Bowl, you could easily have done another half of this card tomorrow. If this was, the business model where it looks like it's going to, this will be a 2-night non-playoff Super Bowl weekend. They're going to do us probably a Saturday, Sunday Royal Rumble at some
is
point.
Now 2 nights.
Yeah, I think it's this year. So
wow.
I think it's the one in Cleveland this year. I think if it's not this year, it's for sure next. But I'm pretty sure SummerSlam is going to 2 nights, and then why not the Royal Rumble and Survivor Series is probably the big ones. Will probably be 2-night extravaganzas.
Yeah, I was going to say those are the 4 big ones, a Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. So
yeah,
I guess that makes sense if that's where we're going. I've personally, I've never been a fan of 2 nights of wrestling. I've kind of felt like, especially from a fan's perspective, like just imagine like having your 3 kids and getting into the venue, getting into the arena, getting them all settled. Like that's so much work alone. And then, sitting there for 5 hours of wrestling and then leaving and then having to turn around and come back and do it all over again the next day. It just seems like way too much freaking wrestling.
And that's why you're retiring, because your age now is thinking common sense. Common sense.
Right?
Now.
Exactly. Yeah. 20-year-old Ramrock would have been like, hell yeah, let's
get in the car.
Put me in both matches, coach.
I'm ready. Let's go. But now I'm just like, oh man, that sounds
that's like the 3-day park hopper at Disneyland. It sounds like a great idea till you're on day 3 and you're like, fuck, man, I'm not buying you a Buzz Lightyear sword for $50. It's plastic. You can just play with it here and put it back. No, I need to take it home. So yeah, I could just imagine how much money is spent just alone with a family of, like you said, a family of 4 that goes to this WrestleMania event, and all the food and parking and tickets. I mean, I was just reading about it. It's like 65,000 people are going to be in attendance at this event twice. Can you imagine twice? Ugh.
So when you buy tickets, are you buying them for both nights, or do they sell tickets for one night and for the both?
We did talk about that, and I think it was one night you could buy like a combo kit, but it was like, it just seemed astronomical. It's kind of like the Super Bowl. It's kind of like the Raiders. I go to the Raiders game, Rock, and these Raiders tickets, I mean, I sit in the nosebleeds for $500. And so these people are sitting in the bottom for $3,000 to $6,000. And
WrestleMania tickets are no joke. I know that. Like, don't even try to look at those. Those will make you sick to your stomach. They're like $10,000. It's insane.
It's just, I don't know. I mean, it's cool to be at these events, but when you get older, you're just like, I don't want to walk. I don't want to park, and I don't want. Exactly. I don't want to buy a beer for $15 and sip it. Try to enjoy it. Beer's so good.
Welcome to the Broken Down Old Podcast.
somebody bumps into you and it spills. You're like, that's $5.
former coach, football player, former wrestler, former promoters. They're all broken, folks.
It's a lot of work. I mean, look at it this way, okay? I don't know what the gym's like for you right now, Rock, but when you go to the gym, everybody's in there right now getting their New Year's resolution in, and you're just like, I have a routine. Like, I have a routine on certain days. I go here, 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 and here. It's like I have a map of the equipment I'm going to use. But then some fucking assholes on the equipment, they don't know that I get priority over this equipment. So now you're gonna make me throw it all off. I gotta do something in reverse, throws off my whole routine. And it's just like, I'm too old to deal with this shit now. I don't want to go off routine. I want to stay on a routine. So if I go to an event, I want to be able to get out of my car, walk to the event, sit in my seat, and watch it. I don't want to have to deal with all the shit that goes with it. Parking alone is like $50 to almost $100. I mean, there's just no shame in this stuff. It just costs so much money.
Yeah.
And again,
insane.
And it's just to watch a live event. And then once you watch it once, you're like, yeah, I'm good. I'll sit on my couch and watch it. So unfortunately, live events have not slowed down since COVID came back. And I mean, COVID stopped and everything came back. So people are still packing it and they're going to still see it. And so there's something to be said.
Yeah. And kudos to the WWE. I mean, if you can pack the arena 2 nights back to back and make that money, by all means, like, do it. That's phenomenal. Good on them. I'm good over here though.
Yeah.
I'm on the opposite spectrum. I don't want to sit through 15 matches on WrestleMania Sunday. Split it up, makes it a more interesting weekend. Give us, our attention to 7 maybe in 7 matches, and it makes it a fun weekend. You got 2 back-to-back days, and for a fan, who's not maybe taking their family to both nights, just from a fan watching it on Peacock or whatever, then I like it.
And to that credit, like, okay, you get to showcase more of your locker room. You get 2 nights. The locker room gets more of an opportunity to get on WrestleMania, because getting on the WrestleMania card is extremely difficult. That's a star-studded night. You have to be if you're on the WrestleMania card, you're somebody. You know what I mean? Or at least that's how it used to be, and it still is to an extent. You know what I mean? Because like they always bring back all the old stars. They bring back the Hollywood stars. It's just such a massive night. So yeah, from that perspective, it does make sense to do 2 nights to give everybody an opportunity on the card. But I go back to my favorite WrestleMania, which is WrestleMania 17. And to me, from the opening bell to the end, that was the best paced. There wasn't a single bad match. I wish we could get back to those days of WrestleMania. I mean, I think that was like a 4-hour event. Every single match was good. There wasn't any down point in it. Like, to me, that's what WrestleMania was. That was one of the best ones, the best cards they've ever done. And everything built to it. Everything made sense. Like, I just wish we could get back to doing that. Because like now it kind of feels like, well, there's still a lot of good matches, but a lot of us are still just wanting to see the big marquee matches. It's like, man, let's just move past this one because I want to get to the main event. And there's too many titles. And like I said, to me, the flow of WrestleMania 17 was hands down the best one they've ever done. So,
yeah, my favorite as well. I feel like three of us might not be talking because it just might not have got into wrestling on the independent level without that inspiring me personally to do what I did. So,
and for me, it all comes back to less is more in wrestling. Like we're so oversaturated with it. Like it's just everywhere now. And don't get me wrong, it's great for the business and it's great for workers. Like the boom, especially in independent wrestling, is massive. There's independent promotions popping up everywhere. There's so much work. Like it's been a minute since you've been in Arizona, MC, but there is probably a solid like 15 promotions in Phoenix alone. And that's no exaggeration. So
that's crazy.
Wrestling is on another boom period. No question about it. And it's phenomenal. I love to see it. I want to see this industry grow. I want, our, kids, grandkids, everybody to be able to appreciate this business, this art form that we love so much. And I know I'm going on a tangent here, and so I'll wrap it up real quick. But it's just like at the same time, when you're overexposed to it all the time, you lose so much the magic. And so there needs to be some kind of balance. Right now, we've got way too much of it. I wish that we could kind of close the gap and just make it feel special again.
It makes sense. Yeah, definitely the watering down effect. I agree.
Welcome to the world of stand-up comedy. That's how it feels too. So everything is always going to be oversaturated, and until it comes back to the real deal, it's just the way it is. And as long as people continue to give views and show up at shows and buy tickets, people are going to continue to put on these promotions and continue to do these things. So Me Podcast, you listen. We appreciate it, Ramrock. We'll put your tags at the bottom of your screen so people know where to find you, to make sure they follow you during your last hurrah for the 2025 season. As we said, you're not going to give it up, but you're going to slow it down a little bit and turn into a gamer, I heard, and you're going to go to Vegas and play Zelda professionally. So just to focus back on the Logan Paul, Jake Paul situation, I looked it up. It is a teasing boxing match that is supposed to happen on March 27th, but the event actually will be a reality series on Max. So kudos for that dipshit to continue to just prey on the innocent people who continue to give him money for dumb shit like that. And then it just goes back to oversaturated social media is killing the world. So anyways, last 10 seconds. Anybody got anything?
CM Punk is my prediction for the men's Rumble. I don't know if we delve too much into that, but real quick, who do you guys got?
All right.
Who do you got? Who do you got?
John Cena.
John Cena. And who do you got, Coach?
I got my dog, Sadie. She's going to win it all.
Sadie will win it all.
Sadie.
All right. Thanks for folks in. Make sure you subscribe, check it out, and enjoy the Royal Rumble.